This will be the Assignment 1 Rectangle. So the problems that we ran into with the solid bodies, I'm going to go with the simple. Really, that became a more about a solid bodies lecture and being able to manage your parts. There's a lot going on there, so we're going to simplify it way down for this one. All right, if you created the templates, then you can pick your part inch or part metric, whichever one you would prefer to work in. When we get into the reproducing parts in the assignments, then those are mostly in metric. If you continue to use the standard templates, the part assembly drawing, and the defaults, which would possibly, I don't remember if I pointed, but if I do the part, it's going to go to this one, not to this one. So um, we'll take a look at that in the file locations on another video. So I go into the part inch, and hopefully you've done enough of the sketching, watched enough of the preliminary videos, the introductions, all that fun stuff, that you're getting used to the process of getting into the sketch. You picked your favorite. I want to go into the sketch and pick one of the planes, or my personal favorite, right click on the plane that you want and open the sketch. All right, so again, our visual clues: red origin, long leg is vertical, short leg is horizontal. So if I hold down the middle mouse wheel and rotate that around, I can still tell which way is vertical and which way is horizontal. So Control 1 sends us back to the front plane, or Control 8, normal to, but usually it requires a selection. All right, so I'm going to go with the rectangle, and we're just staying with the standard corner rectangle. Watch for that little yellow box with the coincident in it. I'm going to do first the click drag, and we have an approximate size. When I put the dimension on, it will scale, automatically scale in relation to what we've selected. All right, so Control Z, I'm going to then go back and do the click. All right, so I've clicked and click. So hardly any difference that you can tell between those two processes just yet. Really the click and the line is probably the one, because it stays continuous. So I hit the S key and I wanted to turn on the sketch numeric input. So if we go back into the, well, let me go ahead and hit the S key and do the rectangle from here. So these are the same thing, which is the same thing as going to sketch entities and finding the rectangle here. So whichever one you pick. All right, so in this case, if I do the click and the click, 2 and enter, 1 and enter. All right, so those are a process. To delete, if I go right to left, I pick everything crossing. So let's do a partial. Right to left is a partial select. Left to right is everything in the window. So if I only wanted that line, I can go left to right and it would act as a filter. So most of the time I'm going right to left. All right, and then the last one, back to the S key. Again, pick your favorite one. I try to do all three so that you see it, but hopefully it doesn't make it too confusing. So if I'm doing the click drag, then I need to keep holding down the mouse button, because if I let go, it's going to say, oh, you didn't put in a value, you don't get any dimensions. All right, so 2 and 1, and then it lets me out of the rectangle. All right, so for our purposes, we're going to go ahead into features, extrude, and I made these 1 by 2 by 3s. So we'll go that way. For whatever reason, I prefer to go that way, or maybe we could go to the midplane. Again, just kind of start getting a sense of what all of these things, the most common ones that you're going to use, and where they're located. So right now, blind and midplane is just going to split it across the front plane. Blind is fine. Wherever you see the little boxes, that's going to act as a toggle and be able to switch. All right, and then I'm still going to tell you to stay away from parameters in the sketch. Also with the arrow and the ruler, you can get pretty close, but that's kind of time consuming to do that for every part. It's a lot easier just to get it close, enter the value, and say go. All right, so Control 7 will kind of center it. I want to save this. We created our folder, so figure out which one it put me in here. And we're going to go to my fall assignments, and it should default back to this now that I've bounced around with the template. One of the things you do want to watch though in saving this is that it doesn't default back to, if you saved it in your cloud drive or into your program data, something like that, that it doesn't default and try to put your assignment back in there. So we're just going to do rectangle, well, just 2. All right, so the other video was not intended for you to follow along. This one is. So I'm going to go ahead and keep those because I need to do a little more diagnostic and debug on the one with the solid bodies. But I'm looking at my solid bodies and saying I have one, and that is the requirement for the assignment. So if we come back over here and I say make drawing from part, then it jumped into the 2022 templates, but I haven't created one yet. So we're going back into the drawing. And at least for now, we're going to stay with the ANSI landscape. Keep in mind, it snuck up on me that when this was in the first angle projection, so I'm going to go back into expand out, go to the properties. And I believe I should be able to click on the sheet and go to properties. All right, but here's one of those customized, and we'll revisit that again because I really want it to be there. So escape real quick. Oh, let's just click. Get a little bit higher up there. Customize menu. And I want to see properties, but I don't really want to delete, so I can turn those off, and then that modifies the menu to where I'll have the properties. I can go into third angle projection, apply the changes, and we'll get out of that, maybe. All right, so I can go back into the view palette. It pops up and it's, oh, wrong one. Custom properties will go over here to the view palette. And, you know, pretty much can pick whichever one I want to be the front view. So one of the rules in our drafting is that we don't put more views than we need. So those two would, in effect, define our block. And we can put the isometric over here. Also on this one, it had, it did the custom scale on one of them. So I want to make sure that the custom scale doesn't get turned on so that if I need to, we can do the sheet scale of 1:1. Well, that one's a little bit big. And we're going to go back to the custom scale for the isometric, make it 1:2, basically half. And then we can apply our dimensions. So again, just getting into the process, seeing how these drawings connect to the part. The drawing does not consume the part. It references it. And so we're going to, okay, so there's the rapid dimensioning. If those get too annoying, those little boxes when they pop up are location and also bring up some of the parameters for the dimension. And let's go ahead and click on that one. So let's see, that popped up there. So if I needed to put in a note or some other reference or inspection dimension, I could do it from those, and I would like that to be there. All right, so we're just going to do singles on this one, and then when I save it, this is going to be an SLD DRW. It's going to take on the name of the part because we are doing one part per sheet. And the other solids had more of a drawing package feel, and we'll talk about the difference with those again. So pretty much when we pick up the assignment, we're going to turn in the part because, again, the drawing references the parts, so I need both of those to be able to see.